Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/Am I the Asshole, where OP almost married a jealous, insecure bully. Let's begin. Am I the asshole for telling my fiancé to get her insecurities in check and grow up after she humiliated my coworker? Posted by Reddit user Foolish Fool.
Recently I, 25 male, got engaged to my amazing fiancée Amy. I was the happiest I have ever been when Amy said yes and was nothing but excited for our wedding. We started planning the venues, the dates, and the invites. When talking about who to invite, we both agreed to invite out coworkers, as we have worked in our respective jobs for years and like them all. As I checked that off the list, Amy spoke up and said everyone from my job can come, except my work friend Tally, 26 female. Tally is also one of my close friends, so this surprised me that Amy didn't want to invite her. She has met Tally multiple times, and there didn't seem to be any issues. When I asked why, she said she just doesn't like her and finds our friendship uncomfortable, saying she thinks that Tally is the type of person to try to sway taken men and be the center of attention. After talking some more to see where she got this idea, it turned out this was based on nothing but Tally's looks, as even Amy admitted that Tally is always very kind to her. But still, Amy is adamant about Tally not going and said that she makes her insecure. Amy is a beautiful woman, so I don't know why she feels this way. I told Amy that if it makes her feel comfortable not having Tally at the wedding, then that is fine, but before invitations go out, I wanted to speak to her privately to let her know to save embarrassment. Amy agreed, and that was really that. We didn't speak on the matter after. A week or so later, I went into work and Tally started to ignore me, only really talking if it was work related. I was confused as it isn't just her, our coworkers have started to ignore her and acting strange to me. So I contacted her boyfriend, only for him to be sarcastic on the phone. I asked what the problem was when he asked if I actually didn't know what happened. He then filled me in. Turned out a few days earlier, Amy came to my work on my day off with invitations. I had no idea she even made them yet and handed everyone an invite in front of Tally, then saying to Tally, "You aren't invited, women like you aren't welcome," which has sparked everyone suggesting she is my other woman. Since then, she has been harassed by some guys at work and shunned by the women. She is now looking for another job. This pissed me off and I apologize profusely as I didn't know. When I got home that night, I confronted Amy about this. She denied it at first, but then told me she did it, but it is now not an issue because she's quitting her job. I flipped on her saying how she clearly didn't trust me to say and that she crossed a line doing all this behind my back. She didn't see the problem and got upset asking me why I'm so mad, me responding, "If we are really going to get married, get your insecurities in check and grow up." I stayed at a friend's since, but have had texts from Amy, her friends and her mother, saying I was an asshole for this and that Amy doesn't deserve this treatment. Am I the asshole? I should have explained better two things. 1. I have made many attempts to speak to Tally privately to find out what was happening prior to contacting her boyfriend. She brushed me off by saying she either had work to do or that there was nothing to talk about. No one would really speak to me, so I contacted her boyfriend as a last resort. Her boyfriend says he is going to pass on to Tally what I said to him on the phone. 2. The wedding is currently on hold, that is also why I'm staying at my friend's. Need some distance to figure stuff out. I made the post because of all the texts. Edit 2. Jesus, this blew up, and I must say thank you to everyone for the advice you are giving me. But there is one thing I must clear up, the whole suggestion that I may have cheated on Amy with Tally. All I can ask is, can people of the opposite sex not be friends without anything untoward happening? Nothing has or ever will happen with Tally, no feelings, nothing adult, absolutely nothing. Tally is happy and in love, her boyfriend is someone I also consider a close friend. I was happy with Amy prior to this, and Tally is more like a sister to me. I find it pretty disturbing that people are even suggesting that I did something with Tally. Ask yourself this: why in God's green earth would I let and encourage Amy to meet Tally in the first place if anything had happened? That would be messed up beyond belief. Also, I don't work in an office. I have no idea where people are getting this idea from, since I never said where or what industry I work in. I work in a retail chain, nothing special.
OP, your fiancé planned how she would humiliate your friend after she forced you into not inviting her to your wedding. Your fiancé is an insecure, jealous child. Why do you even want to marry this person? I mean, just imagine how exhausting your life would be with this woman. I think you're being an asshole for agreeing to not inviting Tally in the first place, to be honest. Your fiancé literally just admitted to you that there's nothing wrong with Tally, and this is based off of looks. This isn't even about you having a work wife, a potential affair, or just Tally being a complete jerk. This is just all about her looks. And instead of letting you talk to Tally and discuss what was happening, your fiancé went to your job and made her out to be a mistress. Holy immature shit. That is ridiculous. OP, with the way she's acting, I'd seriously question if she's ready for marriage in the first place. If I were you, I'd just go ahead and dump your fiancé at this point. She showed you her true colors even after you agreed to not inviting one of your closest friends to your own wedding. What she has done is a major relationship ending behavior. Not only that she didn't give a shit about the agreement you two made, but your fiancé also disrespected you and your friend. Not to mention that your fiancé is the reason why she is being harassed by your coworkers and is now quitting her job. Is that seriously the type of woman you want to spend the rest of your life with? Come on, OP. You have got to be better than that. And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for telling my son I'd rather have his ex-wife as a daughter than him as my son after he got cut out of the will? Posted by Reddit user Louisa Lou.
16 years ago, my son Matthew had a daughter with his now ex-wife Josie. I have always thought of Josie as my own daughter, so when they divorced 7 years ago, due to my son cheating, I was conflicted and disappointed. Josie wasn't particularly close with any of her family, so my husband and I naturally took them in. Josie was an angel. She had insisted that we didn't have to lift a finger more than before we had taken them in, and though she was hurt, she kept civil around Matthew. My husband and I held a huge hand in raising their daughter Ruth because Matthew remarried less than a year later and now has a 4-year-old son after disowning Ruth. 2 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was hard on everyone, especially Ruth. They were extremely close. She told him about her girlfriends and boyfriends before anyone else and has always wanted him to be the one to walk her down the aisle at her wedding. Matt rarely ever visited and didn't answer our calls often, saying that we had other kids, so it wasn't like my husband was dying lonely. Last night Matt stopped by to talk about inheritance. He never mentioned Josie nor Ruth and hinted that he thought he should get more inheritance than his siblings the entire time. My husband and I shared awkward looks until he decided to cut in. He explained that everyone would get a piece, but he'd focus more on Ruth and Bonnie, one of our other grandkids. Matt got angry and said that Ruth was just a bastard and that his son deserved more than her. My husband got furious after that and left the room, saying that he wouldn't include Matthew at all. Matt yelled back and turned to me saying that Ruth wasn't worth it because she'd just grow up to be a whore like her mother. I told him that I'd rather have her mother as my daughter than him as my son and insisted that he leave. I'm getting phone calls from Matt's wife and family friends saying that my husband and I overreacted and he was just angry that we were playing favorites. Am I the asshole? Edit. To clear some things up. Josie did not cheat on Matthew. Josie and Matthew met later in college, and Josie was known as a party girl before that. Ruth isn't a product of an affair, but we are planning on getting a DNA test because what Matthew said has gotten under Ruth's skin. She was at the house when this occurred and overheard it. When it came to taking in Josie and Ruth, we didn't hesitate because Josie is not from here. She and Matt lived in another country until he moved them here a few months before he got caught cheating, and they had nowhere else to go as Josie was a stay-at-home mom. I had no intentions of choosing Josie over Matt then and now, and I never discouraged Matt from visiting. I tried to make it very clear that we weren't picking and choosing when we took Josie in. We just wanted her and our granddaughter to be safe and have a good home.
Yeah, OP, your son is not the sharpest knife, is he? He thinks he should get a fatter check than his siblings when he's barely around even for his own parents and daughter, cheated on his wife only to start over with someone else, effectively abandoning his daughter in the process. Then he has the audacity to call his ex a whore and that his daughter will grow up the same way. That's coming from a man who couldn't keep it in his pants and then bolted. Upon learning his father is dying of cancer, he says, Well, he's got other kids, so he's not gonna die alone. What? What kind of person would even think that way? And then finally, he literally only came by to figure out what kind of check he's gonna get when his dad passes away, and then has a meltdown when he learns he's not going to get that much, despite literally barely being a part of your current lives. Big fucking yikes. You're not the asshole here, OP, but I guess for now, let's check out the update first.
I'm sorry for not updating, much has gone, and I wanted to wait till everything was cleared up, till I did an update. This situation is what my grandchildren have described as messy. There is a lot that happened, so I'll try to sum it up in one explanation. We had been trying to talk with Matthew for several weeks after what happened, and we were only met with silence. He and his wife would refuse us at the door, and he never answered his phone. There was obviously something we didn't know from his side of the story, but we can't make a judgment based on what we could possibly not know. I sat Josie down and asked her if she knew what could possibly be happening. She never talked much about her and Matt's marriage much, and we never pried. Josie broke down, told us that their marriage wasn't great from the beginning, and that Matt cheating wasn't something new, and the moving here was because he told her he would stop once he was closer to his family. She says she never told us because she was embarrassed and she didn't want to turn us against our son. A few days ago, Matthew came by our house well after midnight while drunk. He insisted on talking, so I brought him to the basement patio. He told me that he thought Josie was cheating on him from the beginning, but had no proof nor any reason to think it. He just couldn't think that such a pretty ex-party girl would stay faithful. Josie getting pregnant wasn't off track for their bedroom life, but he just couldn't believe it. There wasn't much sense to his words, but he did say, "She's so pretty and I love her so much, why would she stay faithful?" He started having affairs after Ruth was born, and Josie knew she stayed because she didn't want Ruth to have a dysfunctional family. Eventually he started repeating that he fucked up and being a crappy father is the only thing he's good at and that he can't disappoint anyone if there's nothing to look forward to with him. He said, "I'm an asshole and that's it, no changing it. I'm not good for being the villain," and called his wife for a ride home. He's gone back to ignoring us and I'm not sure what to do. His wife Ellie has told us that she's tried and it's not a fight we're going to win. In an even longer story short, Ruth is 100% Matt's daughter, and it looks like we're going to have to raise our grandson too. I hope everyone has gotten their fill of drama today.
Okay. So let's try and process this together, alright? To his reasoning, he was justified in disowning his daughter because his wife was too pretty and that he loved her too much. Where's the logic in that? Just wow. I'm sorry that your son has a few screws loose, OP. This is not your fault. Any person walking away from their responsibilities is doing it for their own reasons, and they are the only ones at fault. Honestly, I think he just wants to play the victim. And if I were you, OP, I would seriously consider going no contact with him. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.